Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with another video, and this video is more for the gentlemen out there, men of culture. We're back with another one, and today I want to discuss upping your trout snout game. What do I mean by that? Upping your game from let's say 30% success rate to a 90 to 100% success rate. So I've tested this theory out before, and on the internet I get so sick of women telling men how to act, bro. That's where you fuck up. As if you listen to women say, well, you know, the most attractive things about a man is their intelligence. Well, part of that's true, but I'll explain what part of that. And they'll say something stupid like, you know, I like a man that holds the door open for me, or something stupid like that. And I'm here to break it down for you. None of that is true. Don't listen to the fish. Listen to the fisherman. Such a beautiful quote. And first of all, when you meet a chick, you want to start the conversation where they ask what you do. Well, I'm a real estate investor. Even if you're not, and you don't even have the money or whatever, just fucking straight cap the entire way. Because at the end of the day, your goal is not to be with them. Your goal is to just get in, have fun, leave, and hopefully maybe set something up for the week after that, just so you have them on standby. But if that don't work, as long as you're in and out, you're good. So anyway, I'm going to break this down on how to do this. So when you first meet them, it's just well, what do you do? I'm a real estate investor and, I like to party, have a good time. You hit them with something like that, you're almost in. Now, one thing you don't want to tell them is you make money from Pokemon. That is a big no. I don't care how much money you make from Pokemon. Do not tell them that. That will dry a woman up so fast it's not even funny. So definitely don't mention anything like that. But so anyway, then when you're almost about to get them, and maybe they ask you a question well, how long has it been? You definitely only want to hit them with a couple months. You don't want to say yesterday, because then you're gonna get hit with oh, that's gross. Who'd you bang yesterday? So you want to say about 2 months. You don't want to tell a chick oh, it's been 3 years since I've got laid. Thank God. That's the worst thing you could possibly ever do. So you want to hit them with yeah, it's been couple months, something like that. And I've tested this on women before. For anyone that says it, doesn't really work, it definitely does. As soon as you use that line, you're almost getting laid every time. Next is, getting laid. Don't fuck up. Make sure you fuck their brains out so they're not disappointed. You got to do that. That is just in the tier list of making sure they come back next week. If you don't do that, they're not going to even want to come back next week. So you got to make sure you definitely do that. Next, upping your game is staying a bit mysterious, but not too mysterious, but just a bit out there. Maybe using a different an alias for your name. Don't use your real name. Use something like a wrestler name or a celebrity name, preferably a celebrity like Randy Orton or something somebody would think is hot, Anyway, so you want to use something like that. That way they don't even have your real name anyway. And so, like I said, at the end of the day, your goal really is to just get in, have a good time, and leave, and you can consecutively do this without actually getting in a real relationship. And whenever you're getting with a chick, you feel the emotions of yeah, man, I love this chick, but you have to turn that off completely. And I know that could be tough for a lot of men, because as men, we're just kind of designed when we're banging a chick, we want to actually love them and have a connection. But you have to really cook that out of your mind and understand women are wild animals at the end of the day. I mean, we are wild animals too. We're all wild animals. And you're not going to tame any of us. None of us will be tamed ever and pretty much be told what to do. It's just very, very tough to tame someone. So that's just not going to happen. So you have to take it out of your mind completely of I'm just here to have fun and leave, and as long as you have a woman pretty much convinced that they're just your 10:30 o'clock appointment, that you're pretty much, just doing it for fun, on to the next one, and pretty chill about it, you're almost in every time. Anytime I've ever like told a chick like, oh, it's been a while since I've smashed. Like, dude, it never happens. Like, so if a chick's pretty much convinced that like you're in, like literally, like I met this other chick yesterday, and like within the first hour, I was already up in the guts, you know. So you want to make sure you're getting the trout snout and then getting the fuck out of there, you know. So get the trout snout and get out, you know. You don't want dedication. You don't want to hear their problems because I'm telling you, you'll be stuck hearing that shit forever. They'll be bitching about the electric. They'll be bitching about the water bill. They'll be bitching about every damn thing. They'll just drive you fucking mad. So you want to make sure you're in, out, and then after you're done, you want to be like, you know, hey, that was a lot of fun. You know, what do you think about next week? You know what I mean? So, you know, like, oh, we'll make this like a weekly thing. What do you think? And most likely, if you did your job, they're going to say, hell yeah. So you want to stick to that game plan and maybe have like a roster of 2 or 3 chicks that you're doing this with, and then just, you know, kind of rotate through them only as needed, though. Don't seem desperate. Don't seem like you need it. And as long as you stick to that, you will get trout snout, I would say 7 to 9 times out of 10. And another way, now, and you also have to measure the caliber of chick you're hanging out with. If you're hanging out with like a weird anime girl that's into Pokemon, sure, tell them you collect Pokemon, whatever. Whatever gets them wet. But if you're hanging out with like someone that parties, they don't want to hear that shit. Or if you're hanging out with like a real high class girl, they don't want to hear that shit either. So make sure you stick to some story like the real estate story. You know what I mean? So that will hold ground really well and making sure you're getting as much trout snout as possible without any dedication. So that is your goal when you pretty much meet a chick, but be straight up about it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just here to have fun, you know. Use lines like, this is why I don't really get in relationships. I just stay single, you know, and just have fun. And it makes a chick like wonder, you know, like, wow, if that's such a good drill, I gotta try it, you know. And it's the same thing with like human psychology of like, if people hear like, oh, I bought a bunch of Fusion Strike and it went up, you know what I mean? And I've had great success with it, then they want in, you know what I mean? And that's kind of how the Ponzi scheme of Pokemon actually works, is like, you hear everybody succeeding from it, and then you're like, oh, well, I better get in, you know? And then it's like, whoever gets caught holding the bag at the end of the day loses. But Pokemon is a weird thing where it's like, no matter what, the longer you hold it, just generally slowly goes up and becomes old. So it goes up in value. But basically, that's what you want to stick to and stay as far from relationships as you possibly humanly can, because you will never make a chick just like stay forever. You know, you have to look at it as like, hey, it's just my turn, bro. You know what I mean? Like, when you do that, it works 9 out of 10 times. I would say at least 7 out of 10 times, compared to like acting like a little bitch, and it only works like 3 out of 10 times, if that. So you want to stick to that main theory and not really listen to all the bullshit that women peddle online of like the dumb shit you should really be listening to. Because in reality, like, it is such like the dumbest fucking shit, and a lot of women really get grilled for it in the comment sections on YouTube of like, yeah, this doesn't work, you know. Like, I've heard women give some of the worst dating advice I've ever heard in my life. So yeah, you don't want to listen to them at all, especially young women. Like, what the fuck do they know about what chicks want? Like, they're like fucking like 20, you know. I'm telling you, as a man that's done this for like 15 years and avoided relationships at all costs, you know, for the most part. I've been in a few, but mostly avoided them the past like 10 years, 5 to 10 years. So you want to basically just stick to that theory, and you will be drowning in pussy. Even if you're just like an average looking guy, or like even if you're fat, like, as long as you can pound their brains out and show them a good time and act like they're just like, you know, like not like way above you, that you're actually like above them, you know, in demand, you will do extremely well. And you can avoid pretty much all relationship aspects, and that's what you want to do, or you'll end up in like a financial slavery loophole of buying them shit, paying for shit until they just drain your bank account dry. So that's basically what you want to do to get as much pussy for as little amount of money as possible. Or if like it really doesn't work that well, just hanging out with a slutty chick will work just fine as long as you don't wait around too long. You'll eventually get up in their guts. But, that's basically just what you want to really stick to. And you'll do extremely well. So just avoid all relationship dedication. Like, that is the key. That is the key to getting laid by as many women as you want, all different kinds, not having to stick to the same bitch and give her all this shit. So that's basically the way of the road, bub. So stick to it. And that's how Pokey Dean does it. So you just got to listen to how Pokey Dean does the ways of the road. Anyway, that's all we have for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we're out.